What's up bikers, I'm Johnny Thompson from Fit for Racing, and today I've got an extra special ultra informative video for you to accompany a podcast that we recorded yesterday with Chris from Downtime podcast. So we talked about off-season training, structuring, and how to do workouts that accompany strength in the early stages of off-season for racing downhill and enduro next year.
1, 2, 3, listen.
So if you haven't already, please listen to that podcast and this will make a little bit more sense. But for now, we're going to be showing you some movements that we mentioned in the podcast so that you can go away and with minimal help do some more purposeful workouts that will help you become a more winner rider. So namely, we're doing some back squats and deadlifts. These are the heavy things of these, and then we're going to show you more about some of the capacity work movements so that you understand what we're talking about. I'm going to demo some pistol squats so that you can do that at home. So if you don't have access to a gym, do not worry. I'll be showing you some things there as well. And if you've got a little bit of money to spend on a pull-up bar and some rings, then I'll be showing you some ring stability work that you can also do at home. So please use this as an informative video. But if you do want to check out our website, fitforracing.com, we can provide you with bike sports specific programs to take your riding to the next level. But we'll talk all about that later on. For now, let's go downstairs and check out some heavy work and how you can do it effectively and safely. The first movement I'm going to show you is the back squat. This is performed with a barbell with some plates. Now you can do squats of various types with kettlebells, dumbbells, all kinds of things. But we like a barbell because you can load it up very well and you're always in the same position. It's nice and controlled. It's going to be demanding of your midline stability, your hip strength and flexibility, and your ankles. This is all going to be good as a foundational lift to build other movements on and general strength. So priority with this lift, as with a lot of them, especially under load, is midline stability, meaning that my spine, where I'm standing here, is neutral. We're going to maintain this neutral spine regardless of depth. So we get those CrossFit haters out there that say, well, you're not hitting depth, you're not doing full reps, but that's compromising of safety. So don't listen to those assholes. Go as deep as you can whilst maintaining your spinal position. So if you're super tight in your hips and that position is here, then don't stress it. I would rather you went to there than went beyond there and rounded you back into this position. That position right there is going to be dangerous. You might cause injury, but more than anything, it's not going to help your performance in the lift. So you might be forcing depth, but then minusing out the other side, performance and strength. So the back squat, the bar is going to be on your back. So placing your hands parallel on the bar is going to be up on your upper traps. So pulling your shoulder blades together, nice and tight. Brace your spine before you go down so your obliques are turned on. Knees come out to create some torque in your hip. Allow the weight to push you down to the bottom whilst maintaining tension through your midline, and then stand up. And then again. So in the podcast, we talked about doing 5 sets of 5 with 2 minutes rest in between. So do this movement 5 times, then put more weight on, 5 times more weight, until you feel like when you get to the bottom, it's a struggle to get up, and you might be losing that midline stabilization. That's what we'll call a technical max. This is where I want you to max, and not an absolute max. That means you're going to grind out in some funky positions. Once you hit that 5 on your technical max, reduce the weight to 90% of that 5, and then do 4 more sets with 2 minutes rest in between. And that's back squats done. The next movement we're going to look at is the deadlift. It's probably most important of all lifts to keep your spinal alignment correct on this. This does become a core test over leg strength. So if you've got a weaker core than your legs, which is more than likely, then as you start pulling the bar, your spine will come up like this and you'll start extending with your spinal erectors rather than your glutes and hamstrings. Absolutely don't do that. As you stand with the bar, your back should be totally flat. So that natural curve braced together with no change in your spine whatsoever. If there's change in your spine, it's not the purpose of the movement. The purpose of the movement is bracing the spine to allow your glutes and hamstrings to get some work in. If it's not, then you're not getting the work that we've prescribed, the purpose of the lift, and therefore you're not only compromising your safety, but you're not getting the performance gains out of the lift. So how to perform the deadlift? If your flexibility is good and you can get down to the bar whilst maintaining a natural lower back curve, then great. If you can't, then raise the bar by putting these plates on other plates so that you don't have to reach quite as far. If you can get down there, then brace yourself through your midline, raising your butt up to keep this back nice and flat, but stretch through your hamstrings and then lift. This is a real big hinge through the hip. So the angle of my hip here is beyond 90 degrees, which means there's quite a lot going on, strengthening the glute and hamstrings here. Amazing for riding, amazing for grip strength too. So one of the movements that we described in the podcast was wallballs. Wallballs is simply hitting a target with a medicine ball, a wall ball. So this ball weighs 20 pounds, so about 9 kilos. Now the purpose of this movement is to generate speed and power through the full range of a squat. It is not just to hit a target on the wall. So holding the ball nice and high on your chest, the range of the squat is really important. Much more important than the actual target. So the target is an incentive to keep some power and speed and throw the ball high, but the real purpose is the depth of the squat, the full range before extension. That's the wall ball. It's a very good capacity builder, speed through the hips and strengthening. Press-ups are fantastic for building upper body pushing strength. However, adding rings to that movement will add more instability. Therefore, you can deal with that instability in a controlled environment. So when you come across it on your bike, you're much more capable. So, like a regular press-up position, like a plank, as you're doing press-ups full range, this is going to make it way more difficult to hold that position. Not just in your shoulders, but in your core. And if you want to add even more, then you can go onto one leg, you can do a set, then plant the other leg and do a set. And this way it's engaging more of the glutes and hamstrings and core and instability and bang for buck training. A set of rings like this you'll probably pick up for about 25 quid on eBay. So search it, get yourself a set of rings and a pull-up bar, and this is a brilliant exercise to do at home. Along with deadlifts on day 2, we had some pull-ups. So this is a real good, big movement to generate more upper back strength. So if you can do them strict, then double overhand, reasonably wide, nice dead hang, chin over the bar, nice big, strict pull-ups. Now, if you struggle to do that, I would much rather, as a strength gainer, so not in workouts, to be putting a band on. If you can't do, say, 5 strict pull-ups, then put a knee or a foot into a band so that you get the full range. So dead hang, chin over bar, and the band's going to be giving you some help. Now, if you didn't have the band, or you didn't want to use the band, it's maybe a bit of an ego hit to put that on whilst you're in a gym, and you're doing pull-ups and you're only doing half reps, this is not going to be very impactful on your upper mid back and your lats. That is a lot more about your forearm, bicep, arm strength. And what we really want to develop from this is the lats and the upper mid back strength, which is going to be really important for controlling your bike. So don't be tempted to do half reps. Use a band or even a lat pull down machine if you're in a conventional gym. I love carries for absolute strength. It's a really good natural movement and it's encouraging of building strength. It's going to reflect good on your biking. So if you don't have farmer handles like these, which are plate loaded, don't worry, kettlebells will be good. But as you pick them up from the ground, as with a deadlift, try and keep yourself nicely braced, stand with them purposefully, and then walk. Whilst you're walking, try not to get soft in your middle. Try to not let them hang off your traps. Stay nice and proud with your chest, obliques turned on, and walk. During the workout, we suggested 25 to 30 seconds. It depends on the weight. If you can't get anything heavier than kettlebells, then don't worry, just go for longer. If you don't have either of those, anything like a sandbag. Sandbags are fantastic. So holding out in the front, bracing like this, a yoke carry, or even carrying a barbell in a back squat position with a walk is going to be really good for you. So carries for absolute strength, and they made an appearance in this workout. The final movement I'm going to show you today is the pistol squat. So there's lots of variations of this and lots of progressions. I did a video a little while ago about the airborne lunge, so check that out for some progressions towards the pistol squat. Now, if you can only work out at home and looking for some loading of limbs to create more strength, namely hips and legs, then the pistol squat is fantastic, but it's very dependent on your ankle mobility. So a quick fix, if you can't get down into a squat just on a single leg, is to take a plate or even a book. So if you've got a hard back book, place that on the ground and put your heel onto it. This will make up for some ankle mobility issues so that as you squat, unstable, as you squat, your knee can come forwards and you can drive up with no problems. So until your ankle mobility gets better, then raise your heel up. And if you're strong enough to be able to do those, then fantastic, because you can do loads more weighted full range hip motion. Now, don't worry about your spinal position on this one because you're not loading your spine. You're reaching forwards to counterbalance. So don't worry about keeping a neutral spine. It's all about the legs and hips. Now, if you want to load that up, it's not going to take a lot of weight to make that really difficult. So hold something out in the front and do the same thing. That will actually help you counterbalance as well. So pistol squats for strength at home are a fantastic movement. So during the podcast, I explained the workouts that you could do with the movements that we've showed you downstairs. So check Chris's show notes. I'll put them in the description as well of this video, so you can use that and you can go away. But don't just repeat those workouts for the next 6 weeks. You will get used to it, so the variance is key. Next week, if you do these two this week, then do something completely different. Use the same movements with different reps, different rest. Use the capacity movements, do different movements in those with different time domains and different stresses, and assistance work at the end, do different core things and different intensity type movements. And then when you get the variance, you get the strength, you get the capacity and intensity, all of that will form a really good basis for your off-season training. If you need any advice, then please send it as an email to clarify anything that you've seen in the video. Otherwise, check out our website, fitforracing.com, sign up to one of our bike sports specific programs on there and leave the guesswork to us. Well, it's not really guesswork for us, but don't guess yourself. Let us give you things to do in the gym so that you only need to spend about an hour twice a week if that's all you've got, or up to 4 times a week if you're an absolute weapon, and then you can get in the gym and start working towards being a more winner rider for next year. Otherwise, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. Look back at the videos in there. There's sample workouts, there's explanations on movements. So please like and share those because that really helps us. And as always, any questions, send them over. So until next time, happy riding, happy gymming, and peace.